healer in you, the king, the queen, the magician, the lover in you. Every single day, we are called to walk in our purpose. Answer the call. Lay down your burden and anything that holds you back and take your rightful place. The battle is everywhere. It's right in your face. Let's go.
Welcome to Magnets, Crystals, and Pyramids. Success is your destiny. Yes. Love, wisdom, power. Remember, always who you are. Yes. Yes. I am love, wisdom, power. Yes. Yes. I am love, yes, power. Yes. I am love, yes. I am love, wisdom, power. Yes. Yes. I am wisdom, power. Master. Yes. I am. Yes. Love, wisdom, power. Yes. I am. Say to yourself. Yes. I am. Yes. I am. Master. I am. Yes. Okay, greetings, family. Welcome to Magnets, Crystals, Pyramids. Welcome, Laji. And this is going to be an interesting variation or interesting upgrade. I've been listening to a particular individual on YouTube, and he was bringing up the conversation about the lost books of the Bible and how the original teachings of Jesus or Yeshua has been hijacked by the church. And not only has it been hijacked, but we've been miseducated from the cradle, that we are literally, I guess you could say, God's awakening or fallen angels. That's what we are, with amnesia to our true nature. And we've been miseducated, thinking we should feel guilty about life experiences, guilty about sin and hell, when Yeshua taught there was no sin and there was no hell. The only hell that there is in your own memories. That's where the hell is. And that's the frequency. But there isn't anywhere in the teachings. And I'm thinking, I have this book. Yeah, Elijah, I don't know if you have it, Aquarian Gospel.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So I was just scrolling through it. And so I wanted to pull some verses from the Aquarian Gospel that Yeshua, also known as Isa in India, and I think also the Islamic world knows him as Isa, where he speaks about there's no hell. You know, heaven and hell lives inside of our thoughts and our feelings, but there is no hell. And so you can look it up on Google. This is the Aquarian Gospel was written in 1908 by an author by the name of Levi. And I don't have my hard copy with me.
What's his first name?
And it spoke about Mary of Magdalene. Mary of Magdalene was Jesus' wife, girlfriend, lover.
Wife.
Well, hopefully a wife is your lover.
Well,
and Mary of Magdalene has been pulled out of the church. And the teachings of Mary of Magdalene was suppressed by the church, by the, what you would call it, Abrahamic religions. And the feminine part of God, known as, what was it? Sophia. So I might get the names wrong, but the feminine goddess principle has been suppressed so that there's a mediator between you and your divinity. And the closest place we will find our divinity is in our hearts. So that's what I've been looking over. So I actually ordered, family, Laji. I ordered. Let me pull it up. What I ordered, because we're gonna pull from these books in the future gatherings, in the future meetings. I ordered, family. Listen to this: the Gospel of Thomas, Book of Enoch, Complete Ethiopian Bible in English. Now, the Ethiopian Bible, family, has the 22 missing books that's not found in the uh, compromised King James Version. And I'm going to say it just like that. The compromised King James Version does not have the 22 missing books that basically say you are God's. And this is a dream and you're co-created with God. But there's fake gods in the Old Testament. There's gangsters that hijacked the planet religious system, and you'll find all the murder of millions of men, women, and children by these fake gods.
Can we say that on YouTube? Can we say
I'm
that?
saying that. Yeah, it's being said. But you can't specifically talk about people in the present, and you can't use certain words, So
I'm trying to find
I'm
out.
winging it. You probably could look it up and read up on it. But I don't want to focus on the gloom and doom and if you don't do this, you're bound to hell. That's a bunch of BS. If you don't do right, the thing is, you got to get in touch with your hearts, and each one assist one. And we on this Tuesday gather together so that we can assist each other in our elevation. So I want to pull from these books in the future: Apocrypha, Ethiopian Bible, Book of Enoch, to begin with. And one of them have all the missing books. And the Ethiopian Bible has all the missing books also. Maccabees, the gospel is gospels that describe the powers that humans have. And you don't need any mediator. There is no sin. Sin was made up by the Catholic Church. There's no such thing as sin, gloom and doom. There's no such thing. It's a miseducation to keep you mental slavery. So it's really like this planet is like a planetary chicken farm, and we got to get to the truth of the matter so that you and I and we can realize and remember how magnificent we are. So wherever you're listening from, post it in the comments so that I can post it on the screen, whatever part of the world. And let us begin with the opening. So with that being said, how you doing, man? You been drinking your Kinkaliba tea, bro?
I've been drinking my Y pop. I've been drinking.
Oh, how's that been feeling?
The one thing that I noticed about it is cancel out all of that extra eating I've been doing. I can't finish a meal, so JD give me smaller portions, and I've just been doing a whole lot of work building up the School of Higher Consciousness and this program I got from T. Robbins, and this program is just ridiculous. I would say he lost his mind, but his mind is fully intact. He's just given. He's overgiven to such a degree it makes no sense. I've been in this program for 2 months now, and I still have not seen everything in there. Nonetheless, that's another side. And I've been building the School of High Consciousness. And I want to know, can we have a conversation playing devil's advocate to what you just said?
I'm going to pull, of course, I'm going to pull it right from the scriptures of Yeshua, what he says about, but before we begin, let us do the invocation. I am in me, I am in Laji. I am in you, the listening audience, now and in the future. I am the only presence. I am the only reality. I am supreme love guiding this program tonight and all future shows. So, as we look into the past based on the science of know thyself, we say, yes, I am forgiving all souls. I'm forgiving everybody from my past lives. And I ask that everybody from my past lives to please forgive me. And as we bring our consciousness into the here and now and into the future, I am forgiving all future possibilities, everybody in my future possibilities. And I ask that everybody forgive me. And most of all, I forgive myself. I am, in the name of love, we are asking the presence, the guidance of Yahshua to be present. We thank you and invite you. Black Madonna, Mother Mary, we thank you and invite you. Mary of Magdalene, Jesus' wife, girlfriend, lover, we thank you and invite you. Ascended Master, gatekeeper of Mount Shasta, we thank you and invite you. Latest Christ born in the Congo, Simeon Toko, Sheikh Amadou Bamba, we thank you and invite you. Sanat Kumara, we thank you and invite you. Nikolai Tesla, we thank you and invite you. Enoch, the Ethiopian who ascended into the heavens and became Metatron, we thank you and invite you. We also thank and invite Seraphis Bey, Master Himalaya, Great Divine Director. These ascended masters going back into Atlantis and Lemuria, y'all. We thank and invite Lakshmi, Buddha, Lady Buddha, Krishna, Lady Krishna. Where have you ever heard about Lady Buddha in contemporary times, family? You don't, because the patriarch, being of a nature that is intimidated by the feminine force, suppressed. However, in Vietnam and Cambodia, they still honor Lady Buddha. So we're going to acknowledge Lady Buddha, Lady Krishna. Uh, Kuan Yin, Goddess of Mercy, we're going to acknowledge Imhotep, Ptahotep, Akhenaten. We're going to acknowledge the divine I am that lives in our hearts. We are the greatest miracle of creation through our hearts, through our I am. We thank and invite Geronimo. We thank and invite Shroom Master, Dr. George Washington Carver, Shroom Master, Kalindi Aye, Shroom Master, Dr. Sabi, Harriet Tubman, Mary McLeod Bethune. We thank and invite Tahuti, also known as Quetzalcoatl. We thank and invite Honorable Elijah Muhammad, El Haj Malik El Shabazz, Booker T. Washington. We thank and invite Sitting Bull, Crazy Horse, Chief Seattle. We thank and invite John Brown. I might have said Nat Turner already, but I'm going to say it again. Nat Turner, we thank and invite. Found out he was a distant relative on my daddy's side. And most of all, we thank and invite the Zulu shamans of antiquity up until today. We thank and invite Credo Mutwa to be on the platform. The kahunas of Hawaii, we thank and invite. Ascended masters from the Orion star system, Pleiades, Dogon, Andromeda, countless galaxies. We ask to create a planetary coup of consciousness upon this planet of all the people, grassroots people, all the way to the leaders. We ask I am intervention into the leadership of the world, known and unknown, seen and unseen, human and non-human. We asking for a quantum coup of consciousness to flow, to stream into the masses of humanity and all life. And we say, Ashe, Mahalo, Donada, Wado, Amen, Amen. So let it be spoken, so let it be done. All right, so family, get your glasses of water, get your cup of Kinkaliba tea. But before we begin, I want Laji to tell us about his experience with the Y power. What you been noticing, man?
I actually called up the brother to ask him how to cure certain things. But what I've noticed, The energy, that's one thing. Got to really watch out for that energy, because that surge of energy have you coming in and just overload what you're doing, especially in regards to exercise, or in fact anything. And so you got to really go, you got to really balance yourself and uh, regulate the amount of energy that's given you to do what you got to do, because you could easily what I'm finding is burn out on that, especially exercise wise, because you be doing, like you've been really in there for weeks and months, and next thing you know, you so sore you can't even bend over, right? So you got to really watch the exercise piece. But what I'm looking for now is I want to target what maladies that's happening in my body right now, and ask, how can I, in fact, I sent an email today. How can I target this thing? How much do I got to take a day? Should I fast to eat that after doing what? Because he's done these healings. So I've actually called him up to say, how can I target a particular malady that I see happening in my own system. And but the number one thing that I'm seeing is this surge of energy, and uh, pulling away this desire to want to eat. And I would assume that it's because you're taking in so much nourishment from the Y powder itself. You don't need all of this abundance or this overeating thing, or it's correcting the overeating thing, whatever it is. Um, I'm eating I'm only eating one meal a day as it is. And now I'm only eating half of that. So, that's what I'm seeing now. But I'm looking to go deeper into it with experimentation. And I asked him, can he give me some insight on that? Just before we did the class, actually. About an
Yeah,
hour.
cool. Thanks for sharing that. Family, the Y power we're speaking of is it's what I call, and I think I shared it with Laji, edible orgone or edible organite. Okay, here's the flyer. You can order it from the website, but before you do, I suggest people read the amazing testimonies, because what I'm sensing, family, and I don't endorse probably anything other than what I make, which is orgone, organite, if you want to call it that. I have different types that I'm wearing right now, and I'm feeling the energy. But to have edible orgone is quite an impressive experience to have in this particular time in our lives. Because if you have the right amount of chi and the right amount of energy, your cells can regenerate, but it has to have the right fuel. And this particular product that the brother got from a download, celestial download, I'm gonna just leave it GP for today, uh, is quite impressive. And I have a sister friend. I don't think I'll ever introduce you to her, Laji. Her son is autistic, 5 years young. She had her son who's autistic. In 2 weeks, he's reading and writing. Not writing. He's reading and making sentences, whereas before he did not do either. And so what she did was she mixed it in with smoothies, because he's at that age of being like a terrible twosome. Is you know rebellious, but she's noticing in just 2 weeks the progress. So I was saying, wow, what could happen with how many of us know people who have autistic grown offspring? So this is uncharted waters. And I asked the sister to have like a weekly or bi-weekly that she can give as a testimony and put it uploaded on the website.
That'd be
So special shout out to Y Power Supplement. You won't find it if you Google it. Listen, if you Google Y Power Supplement, it's not there. Google is trying to create a monopoly on websites. So don't go searching for this website. Write it down and go directly to the website, because that's what Google's doing to try to knock off the competition of other browsers such as DuckGoDuck, just to name another. So they call it what's the term they call? They left me a message saying, "Oh yeah, we want to validate your website." What they basically want to do is lock you in or lock you out. But do not depend on one browser for using the internet, because then they'll decide, like, remember they used to do that with AOL. They used to have, they wouldn't really let you on the internet. You would use the AOL um, mainframe. You wouldn't be on the internet. Steve Casey was the guy who was in charge of AOL back in the day. You remember that, Logi?
Um, you know me in
Yeah,
technology.
he wasn't into it.
I'm
But
getting
family AOL, they wouldn't allow you on the internet. You would go through their mainframe, and they would filter out websites that they didn't co-sign. So that's what Google is becoming. One of those massive mainframes that, unless you get their um,
approval.
approval, you don't exist unless you go to the website directly. So be mindful of that. Oh, listen, Watch It Tour Wellness Center. She said, thanks for that, Hank. I've been getting those calls too. That's what they're doing.
So what are the calls? So I know to look out for, because I'm developing more and more and more.
You have to have a website first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Edible Orgone, really, is it MLM, multi-level marketing? No, it isn't multi-level marketing, but that's a good question. All right. And actually, from my learning, multi-level marketing was invented by a black woman back in the early 1900s. She made beauty products. I forgot the name of the sister,
But
but
that's
no, it isn't multi-level marketing, and I'm not selling it, and I'm not getting anything from it other than passing the word. That's all I'm doing. I'm just passing the word. I don't get a cut, and I'm not interested because I have my own program, but something that is helpful for people. That's what networking, that's what the spirit of Ubuntu is all about. Okay. And also acknowledging you, John. Peace, love, and respect to everyone in the chat and Master Teachers. Yeah, so we want to talk about and she said, yes, Lord. Oh, that's funny. But this is what's going on, and as quiet as being kept. That's what, monopolies is what's happening. And I'm not co-signing for no monopolies. But Logi brought up a good point about heaven and hell, and we got Aquarian Gospel. I have the chapter that Jesus or Isa or Yahshua talks about. There is no heaven and there is no hell. But first, I want to hear what Logi's take is while I go get my Kinkaliba tea and a cup of water. So, family, this show is going to speed up your chakras. So make sure you get a cup of water or you have your cup of Kinkaliba tea. And I'm going to go get my tea, and I'm going to bring Logi full screen so he can give us his take on heaven and hell from his perspective. Hold on a second. Come on, Logi, get in here. There you go. Go ahead, Logi. I'm going to go get some tea. I'll be right back.
Cool. I just like to have it be an open discussion where we can just evaluate what we've heard, what we know, what we think we know, and keep growing in this knowledge, and keep understanding, and keep increasing our understanding with wisdom, right? Because knowledge is one thing, wisdom is a total another thing. Wisdom is that which you know. Knowledge is something that you're gathering, and you then begin to use knowledge to see if it manifests. Because we hear many different things, but wisdom is something that you use. You do this and it happens, or you don't do that and you see the results. So in regard to this heaven and hell thing, very, very interesting. I mean, very, very interesting. I used to say, I pray there's a heaven. I know there's a hell. How do I know there's a hell? Like a few other people, I've been there, and I can say this: you don't want to go. Now, those people there's been people who've had after-death experiences with heaven, mostly is what I heard mostly. And then there's those who I'm just recently hearing that they had them too. So I was thinking, that hell piece there, maybe we ain't got to worry about it. Maybe we're safe from all our wickedness that we've done in the past, right? And I remember reading in the Mahabharata where they definitely said there's a heaven and a hell, right? And they said there's many different heavens and quite a few different hells. Lately, I've been listening to a brother named Dominic Morrow, who he told about experience in hell, and the experience that he told. I called him yesterday because I wanted to get an insight from him. These demons that are in hell are truly hateful, right? And now I know what I read in various books, scriptures, this, that, and the other. Now there was this guy named Yudhishthira. He was an emperor of the earth 250,000 years ago. His dynasty was the Kuru dynasty, right? And he was the most righteous man at the time. And even he, it said in the Mahabharata, had to go to hell for a few minutes, a couple of minutes. But a couple of minutes in hell can be like months. Nonetheless, that's what I know I read. My direct experience was my experience of hell. Well, hundreds of thoughts are coming to your mind at once and you got no power over. The demons that come and snatch you up, you got no power over. The smell, the other things that are there that I got a glimpse of, because and I was 16 years old when I was doing it, and I was definitely living a hellish life at that time, right? All I could say, I prayed that there's a heaven. I know there's a hell. Or I should put it like this: my direct experiences tell me there's a hell. Now, what's my perspective on this hell? It definitely helped me out, and it made me realize, look, if I don't change the way I'm going, I've reserved a condo for myself there. And what this brother was talking about, Dominic Morrow, and I would highly advise anybody hearing this conversation to check him out on YouTube, Dominic Morrow, right? He spoke about some of the experiences I experienced. So I know the truth that he's talking about. Then I thought about, I mean, I have the books that you talked about. I have most of them here, not all of them. I'm going to send for that Ethiopian Bible. I think I had it years ago and it just got lost in the source. I might have gave it to somebody to read, a practice I do not do anymore, giving away books. Because not only do people not read them, they lose them and you don't get them back. Nonetheless, and I don't want it. Initially I said I don't want it to be a hell. I just can't speak to that as a reality. From my understanding, from reading in the Mahabharata, an ocean of knowledge, you go to hell and you go to heaven, depending on how much wickedness you've done, and wickedness compared to goodness, that time is divided. If you're going to spend a long dross in hell, you'll get your heaven first, then you'll go. The process, I would think, not my experience, but I would think, is to purify all the dross off of your subtle body so that you can take another body and try to become ascended again, because the whole process of heaven and hell is to become ascended, to become immortal, to become the God that you are. My experience of going to hell didn't change me a lot. It just made me aware, yo, homie, this is what you got in store for you. Now, maybe I did change a lot because I didn't unalive anyone, right? And I definitely thought about it. And there was a time that I just felt I'm going to unalive this MF, right? And I go back to the ashram while my guru was alive. He looked directly at me, said, if you kill anyone, you're going to hell. And he knew my experience. He knew all that, you dig, and he told me straight away, because I was coming back from some people that did me dirty. And I put myself in a position where I could unalive them. And he said, you do that, and you definitely going to hell. Now, some of the Ascended Master teachings spoke of this too. Some of the books with Saint Germain I had read, spoke that, there's such a place. Don't talk about it much. I don't remember reading it in any of the 20 volumes of the Iron Discourses. For my own direct experiences, there's such a place. And I will tell you unequivocally, this is not some place you want to go, because it is It's hard to even describe the hellishness of hell. It's nothing like what we've been told. Nothing. I mean, if you could just burn and burn and burn, okay, cool, burn. But if that burning just keeps intensifying and keeps intensifying and keeps intensifying, and then you are in such, oh, I would say that to believe in such a place would be to your advantage, because it will definitely stop you from reserving a condo in that place. And it is highly organized. And it is from second to second. It's not even minute to minute, second to second. Whenever you get to the point where you're used to the hellish experience, it intensifies. Whenever you get to the point where you think, see, we have the grace of God covering us. So if we experience something too traumatic, we'll remember it. We'll blank out. All of that is God's protection. But in hell, no such protection exists. You just keep experiencing more and more and more. And I mean, and it's unending. And a minute seems like a very long time. An hour, long time. A day. Oh God, let me tell you, this is something that will help you. I look at it now in retrospect, and I say to myself, this was the grace of God. Having this experience was the grace of God. And I did not experience it on the level that this brother Dominic Morrow spoke about it. I did not experience it on that level. And he came back with volumes of information in regard to this hellish experience. But as he spoke, I knew what he was saying because I experienced some of these things.
All right. Well, thank you, Laji, for that concept. So we're going to go over the Aquarian gospel, the Buddhist belief in heaven or hell, the Hindu belief in heaven or hell, and we're going to pull that up first. And let me just bring this share screen, and so that you'll be able to see this, because this is a very good subject, and I got to thank Laji for bringing it up, because it reminded me of the hell and damnation of the Southern churches back in the day.
Mm-hmm. That's all. That's all they teach.
All right, so here we go. Here's the according. Okay, here we go. Hinduism's concept of heaven and hell includes a variety of interpretations, but some common beliefs are. Jason, what link are you talking about? The Y banner? The Y Power supplement? It's right there, if that's what you're talking about. Okay, this is the Hindu concept, heaven, also known as swarga. Heaven is a state of existence or experience for the soul that is achieved through good deeds or good karma. It is described as a state of freedom, enjoyment, and oneness with the Lord. Hell, also known as Narak, I hope I pronounced that right. Hell is a realm of suffering that represents the negative consequences of one's actions in life. And let me just pull up, reincarnation, we'll touch on that later. Now, let's go to the Buddhist belief system. Let me adjust that. Hold on. I'm still learning how to work this technology, y'all. Hold on one second. Here it is right here. Okay. Let me pull it up again, because we need to know this. If we're going to be masters of the universe, we can't be shaking in our boots saying, I don't want to go to heaven or hell. I don't want to ring that bell. Okay, here we go. Share. Let me make sure you can see it on the screen. Buddhists believe that beings are born into a particular plane based on their accumulated karma. Hold on. Let me make sure I got this scrolled all the way to the top. Here it is right here. Buddhists do not believe in heaven or hell in the traditional sense, but instead have a different concept called samsara. Samsara is the idea that we are constantly moving through 6 realms in our current life, including heavenly beings, human beings, Ashura is fighting spirits, Gaki, hungry ghosts, animals, hells. Buddhists believe that beings are born to a particular plane based on their accumulated karma. The higher the plane, and plane is, from what I understand, is frequency. The higher the frequency, the longer the lifespan, and the more subtle the state of existence. Buddhists believe that suffering and pleasure are the results of our good or bad karma, or good or bad deeds. They also believe that the effects of our evil deeds cannot be escaped as long as we continue to exist or be reborn. All right. Now I'm not trying to convert nobody. You know, I ain't trying to convert Logi. You know, I'm just saying awareness so that what fits inside of your consciousness, so be it. Now, let's go to the Aquarian gospel according to what Jesus taught. And I want to make sure you can see this. So I'm going to expand it. Hold on. Uh, where is it? Okay. Let me change it again. Because this is a very good conversation. Very good. Because sometimes we get caught up saying, okay, we gotta pay off. We got, that's what the church catch is. You gotta pay off the Lord so you can go to heaven. There's a ticket. And me used to being a Jehovah Witness, funk that. All right. So let me just make this bigger so you could see it full screen. Zoom in. Zoom in. Hold on. Give me 1 second. All right. Let's see how that looks on the screen. I'm going to try to make this bigger so you can see it more. Bear with me. Aquarian Gospel. Enter full screen. Okay. Here we go. All right. Now I'm going to get rid of Y Power supplement so we got room. And here we go. This is chapter 33 of the Aquarian Gospel. In silent meditation, Jesus sat beside a flowing spring. It was a holy day, and many people of the servant caste, talking about the caste system, were near the place. I hope I got this correct. Let's see. All right. Jesus saw the hard drawn lines of toil on every brow and every hand. There was no look of joy in any face. All right. Verse 3, Jesus spoke to one and said, "Why are you all so sad? Have you no happiness in life?" The man replied, "We scarcely know the meaning of that word. We toil to live and hope for nothing else but toil. And bless the day we can cease our toil and lay us down to rest in Buddha's city of the dead." And Jesus' heart was stirred with pity and with love for these poor toilers. And he said, "Toil should not make a person sad. Men should be happiest when they toil." In other words, men should be happiest when they work. When hope and love are the back of work, then all of life is full with joy and peace. And this is heaven. Do you not know that such a heaven is for you? The man replied, now listen close, family. This is verse 7 in chapter 33 of the Aquarian Gospel. "Of heaven we have heard, but it is so far away, and we must live so many lives before we reach that place." And Jesus said, "My brother man, your thoughts are wrong. Your heaven is not far away. It is not a place of metes and bounds. It is not a country to be reached. It is a state of mind. God never made a heaven for man. He never made a hell. We are creators and we make our own." All right. This is Aquarian Gospel, chapter 33, verse 9. God never made a heaven for man. He never made a hell. We are creators and we make our own. Now cease to seek for heaven in the sky. Just open the windows of your hearts, and like a flood of light, a heaven will come and bring a boundless joy. Then work will be no cruel task. The people were amazed and gathered close to hear this strange young master speak, imploring him to tell them more about Father God, about the heaven that men can make on earth, about the boundless joy. And Jesus spoke a parable. He said, "A certain man possessed a field. the soil was hard and poor. By constant work, he scarcely could provide enough of food to keep his family from want. One day, a miner who could see beneath the soil and passing on his way saw this poor man in his unfruitful field. He called out to the weary worker and he said, "My brother, know you not that just below the surface of your barren, rich treasures, just below the surface of your barren field, rich treasures lie concealed?" All right, hold on. Let me scroll out. Give me a second, y'all. Okay. I'm just moving it up. Okay, here we go. So let me make it full screen so I can see it. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me make it bigger so you can see it. All right, let me see. Here we go. And making it larger. Your plow and sow and reap in scanty ways. You plow. Now we're talking about the surface of the earth, but the symbolism is you plow your monkey mind and sow and reap in scanty way. In other words, you're worrying about getting the precious gifts of heaven or hell. And day by day, you tread upon a mine of gold and precious stones inside. The wealth lies not upon the surface of your mind or the ground, but you will dig away at the rocky soil. That's meditation. And dwell down deep into the earth of your heart. You need no longer till the soil for nothing. The man believed. The miner surely knows, he said, I will find the treasure hidden in my field of my heart. And I'm paraphrasing. And then he dug away the rocky soil, and deep down in the earth, he found a mine of gold. And Jesus said, the sons of men are toiling hard on desert plains and burning sands and rocky soils, are doing what their fathers did, not dreaming they could do anything else. Behold, a master comes and tells them of a hidden wealth, that underneath the rocky soil of carnal things are treasures that no man can count, that in the heart of the richest gems abound, that he who wills may open the door and find them all. And then the people said, make known to us the way that we can find the wealth that lays within the heart. And Jesus opened the way, and the toilers saw another side of life, and work became a joy. Now that's what the Aquarian Gospel says. Chapter 33, verse 1 through, what is that, 25? And it's fascinating. So whatever you decide, whatever you believe, family, it's absolutely true. If you believe there's heaven and hell, it is because you believe it, because you're God. Whatever you believe, if you believe you won't make it until tomorrow morning and you have the conviction that the sun won't come up, you'll create the holographic reality that you will be put wherever you believe, even though this reality, the sun will come up in the east, but you won't be, because your consciousness, you are God. So as a God or a goddess, whatever you believe is true. Whatever you believe is true. We got comments here. All right. I gotta get me some more white power. Oh, I gotta get me some. Yeah, it's a good. Oh, you know what I was thinking of, Logi? I gotta tell you what I was thinking of doing. Taking the Y power, mixing it with resin, and making it a cup.
Resin? What kind of resin?
The same kind of resin I make the beads with.
Mm.
In other words, get a silicone mold and then mix in the resin and the Y power to create a cup. So I can pour the water, and that Orgone energy of the Y power will charge up the cup of water. That's what I was thinking of doing.
But isn't that what we're doing already?
Well, you're doing it internally. So what would happen? What would happen if we was to take the Y power, make it into a cup with resin, and then put the Y power in it with water to drink it?
So like making a clay cup or a ceramic cup or something like that?
Yeah, making it like a they have on Amazon, you can get molds, silicone molds, to make all kind of stuff,
Mm.
bowls, cups. And so what I was thinking, mixing it with the Y power and resin, because the powder itself, when we do muscle tests, the energy is coming out of the out of the container, so that it will get pre-charged before we drink it. So in other words, you're drinking supercharged Y power because you made a cup of the Y power with resin, and then you put the water, and then you add the Y power to drink. You mix it in, let it get charged up from the Y power cup, and then drink that. And
Interesting.
also make a Y power cup or pyramid, and then put that, once it hardens up, put that inside of a bath of water, a tub of water. So you're getting the pyramid effect, you're getting the cup effect, but you're getting the Y power. But instead of being a powder that uh, floats around in the water, you got a sacred geometry combined with the Y power.
That's high power. What I was thinking of doing is just start experimenting, because as I'm developing this course, I'm like, I forgot all the things that I have known and even experiences that I had, and super duper high powered experiences. And so I was saying to myself, what I want to do is begin to do many of the things that I have learned to do at once, day after day, or just make up these formulas like you be doing in the lab. You're constantly making up a different experiment with the metals and the jewelry and so forth and so on. I wanted to do that alchemy on the inside, fasting with the white powder, fasting with some other things that I had, and various other things, taking the entheogens while I'm doing that, going in silence, unless I got a program to speak about like this right here. I was, two things have been really in my mind from what the Ascended Masters was dropping, right? And they were saying, look, within 2 years, you can put yourself in a position where the Ascended Masters come get you, where you could be, you could be ready to be, even what I'm getting, to be brought into the company of Ascended Masters and attain ascension in 2 years. I'm like, 2 years, oh my God, 2 years. What am I missing? What am I missing? And I was just reading some information from, because Lord Lanto was saying the same thing from the Buddhist tradition, right? He was saying the same thing. And I'm like, well, please tell me what it is that I'm missing. I mean, I'm trying, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm up every day. I'm doing it in the day and in the night. And I'm even starting to haven't got the full discipline in there yet, but I'm working on it. So it's full discipline. I'm tracking, what I do. And he said something that blew my mind. I'm like, I read this before. I probably read it many times. He said, sweet speech. And when I came up, use sweet speech in your movement. It's okay doing mantras, prayers, decrees, this, that, and the other. But if the character don't change, you're missing the whole thing. And in your character needs to be sweet speech, needs to be the automatic, like when we're in that state of consciousness with the entheogens and the other powerful, soma that they call it in the Sanskrit tradition. We're in those states that boost us to a whole nother level where there's no ego, sweet speech, automatic forgiveness, all the virtuous qualities. So we build that nervous system that's building within us, so they can hold the lunar germ that Percival calls Shakti, that my guru calls, so it can go up into our brain, tip the pituitary gland to point directly to the pineal gland, that will automatically open up the third eye. And so, I want to get into the experiment on a high level, like an alchemist. But really, the spiritual path is an alchemical process, and what. So I started putting it together. My financial coach. This is my financial systems action event, right? And then I said, there's too much stuff here. So let me create a physical action event that will have all of the stuff I need to do for my exercise and diet, right? So I wrote it all down, but I've yet to put it on my boards that I made. I showed it on the screen one time before, and it was just like I think it was the day before yesterday. I said, well, what about the celibacy? What about the sweet peace? What about the forgiveness? What about the staying in harmony? What about the going in silence? What about all those other things? What about the criticism, condemnation, judgment, blame? What about No lying on any level. What about the things that that you kind of like let go over your head because you're doing this other stuff? So now you think you hold it in thou and all this stuff, you know what I mean? Because you praying, chanting, decreeing, meditating every day. What about all that? What about you still hit people certain way? If they make you angry, you fire at them. If they do something, you don't forgive them and then forget. What about the rest of the sadhana or the spiritual practices that we kind of let go over our head because we think we know something or we're doing good stuff, but we're not taking into consideration all that good stuff is for our character and personality that's locked. What about that? So one of the experiments I want to go into is the spiritual characteristics that I know of. Just put them on a chart and chart them too. So I got my financial things charted. I got my physical things with the diet and the exercise charted. And then I got personality development charted. And what I do, you might be able to see it from over here if I put the camera there. It's like you don't even have to do it every day. But one of the magics of the chart is you cannot go and look at it every day. One or two things will happen. You'll either progress or you'll stop looking at it. And
okay, Ashe. So let's look at something else here, what I find very interesting. All right, let's talk about sacrifice, family. We're going to talk about human We're going to talk about all kinds of sacrifice. What did Yeshua, what did Isa, what did Jesus say about sacrifice? Okay, I'm going to pull that up. Here we go. Now, this is Aquarian Gospel, chapter 35. All right. But before we begin that, let's look at what the Gnostics. You heard of it, Gnostics, Laji?
Of course.
Yeah. Look what Gnostics say about this Bible that we presently are consumed by. Listen to this. Hold on a second. And this is a head spinner. Oh, here it is, right here.
What was God hiding? Later, God claims that humanity is evil and destroys them in the Great Flood. But the Book of Enoch reveals that humans were actually learning God's secrets. And the Apocalypse of Adam, a book banned by the church, says that humans were uncovering a deep truth and refusing to worship God. But what was that secret? So then humanity builds a tower to reach heaven. Threatened by their unity, God makes them speak different languages and scatters them. Why would a real God fear our collective intelligence? Are you ready for the secret? The serpent in the garden said that we wouldn't die but become like God. He was right. According to banned Gnostic books, God wanted to be the only God, so he tricked us, trapping our souls in material bodies to keep us from remembering that we are all actually gods. Even Jesus hinted at this secret when he said, "I have said you are gods." This secret is so terrifying that God himself hid it from us. It all starts with Adam, Eve, and the tree of knowledge. They ate the forbidden fruit, supposedly dooming humanity to hell. But why make knowledge seem evil? Well, God said that they would die, but instead their eyes were opened. What was God hiding? Later, God claims that humanity is evil and destroys them in the Great Flood.
You see that?
Yes.
We've been hijacked, y'all. There's a correction, a cosmic correct. Well, not even cosmic, but this was like this planet was sort of like a pre-K planet, and highly advanced technicians came down, and literally because of their advanced technology, the humans or the life forms that was here is like, oh, that must be a god, because all I know how to do is rub sticks together and make fire. This guy's floating through the clouds in the air the same way any primitive society would be. So you made basically a planetary chicken farm slave planet in the outer rings. And these were gangsters that talked about this in the Bible, how they killed millions of men, women, and children. And this particular God, Yahweh's jealous. It's in the Bible. What kind of supernatural being is jealous? But what they did was they took the S off of the gods, like they didn't do in Genesis. Let us create man in our image. We've been duped. And the place that has been duped the deepest is in the religious understanding of who we are as divine beings. Like Psalms 82:6 say, ye are gods. Psalms 82:6 says, ye are gods. Luke 17:21 said, kingdom of heaven is within you. So if I'm God, if I listen to my heart, there is no heaven, there's no hell, because I am God. But let's see what Aquarian Gospel says about sacrifice. Because this is something that I struggle with, because I didn't join anybody's organization, because I was like, wait a minute, I don't know about sacrifice. Let's see what it says. Here we go. The Indian sage and Jesus often met and talked about the needs of nations and of men, and about the sacred doctrines, forms, and rites best suited to the coming age. One day they sat together on a mountain pass, and Jesus said, the coming age will surely not require priests, shrines, and sacrifice of life. There is no power in sacrifice of beast, bird, to help a man to holy life. This is chapter 35, verse 3, Aquarian Gospel. And Laji, I don't know how you pronounce that name. It's an Indian name, Vidyapati.
Vidyapati.
Said all forms and rites are symbols of the things that men must do within the temple of the soul. The Holy One requires man to give his life in willing sacrifice for men. And the so-called offerings on altars and on shrines that have been made since time began were made to teach man how to give himself to save his brother man. For man can never save himself except he lose his life in saving other men. The perfect age will not require forms, rites, or carnal sacrifice. Talking about the Aquarian age that we are now in. The coming age is not of perfect age, and men will call for object lessons and symbolic rites. And in the great religion you shall introduce to men some simple rites of washings and remembrances will be required, but cruel sacrifice of animals and birds the gods require not. There you have it. No need for sacrifice.
I know some people who indulge in these blood sacrifices, and I tell them straight away, there are many ways to get tricked into satanic worship, and sacrificing of blood is one of them.
What do you mean? I'm gonna make the screen bigger. Talk about it, Laji.
You know, and some of these like Buharia, which they tell them straight away, that's satanic. Buharia is the left side of this satanic thing, but it's trickery. And even Santeria, they're sacrificing animals. You know, this is part of the satanic rites. You know, there's so much that's out there for us to realize where we got tricked. Number one, who has the Bible and who went there and compiled the Bible? Like Vyas compiled all the scriptures in the East, Constantine compiled the Bible in the West. And he brought in 1,800 bishops. Of those 1,800 bishops that he brought in, 1,500 left and said, no, that none of what you're saying is true. Hell no, right? So they left. This was in the Council of Nicaea, and 300 years after Christ had passed away. So they decided to codify the Bible at that time. And of course they took secrets, but there are some other secrets. There are secrets and ways that's coming in from this place, that place, and the other place that will give you insight to what's really going on. And we can start with Akhenaten, which is a secret I'm not going to reveal online here, but oh boy, okay? When you go back to Charlemagne, right, who went everywhere conquering and this now, we're talking about somebody who's supposed to be the Pope of Rome. But he didn't believe in Jesus. He believed in Lucifer. To this day, they're doing chants, they're doing psalms in the daylight, not secretly, not behind the scenes, but in Latin to Lucifer. So when you think about this dude, Charlemagne, the reason why he started building the Vatican was because the people in Italy were leaving that place. One of the grounds where Jesus was creating his church When he came off the cross, he went into Europe, into Italy. But we got to realize there's another dude that went there after him. And this was somebody from Egypt. And this was somebody that's being worshipped on the 33rd degree in the satanic order. I don't want to give out secrets because I've been sworn to some of them, but I'm giving out hints. And when I asked this question, what are they talking about you worshiping Lucifer? I asked one of the brothers in the line, what is this you talking about you worshiping Lucifer in the 33rd degree? He told me, go read the Yazidis, the Yazidi scripture. Now, what is the Yazidis? The Yazidis was based on, or rather I should say the Bible and the Quran was based on the Yazidis. And what is Yazidis? Devil worshiper. When we start getting into the knowledge of Christianity, let's say, but and also remember, Jesus was not a Christian, all right? And when we start getting into that knowledge, who owned this place up front? Who was kicked down here first? Satan. And not only that, he killed Adam and Eve twice. And as we read the other books that you were talking about, the book that was taken out of the Bible, I have a few here. I got to re-get the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus Christ and the Ethiopian Bible, but we got the Apocrypha. We got other stuff, deep stuff, you know, Enoch and all like that. I mean, just deep. When you start reading these Apocrypha and these other books that was taken out of the Bible, it tell you straight away, Adam was afraid of this God. Now, I got my degree in a theological seminary school. Most of those guys in there were going to be preachers. I went there because Dr. Ben and Leonard Jeffries and all of them say, go back there and get a degree. And I'm like, well, then they don't do what we do. They don't read a book a day. You know, we doing for the love of the thing. They said, no, you want to do something, and what you want to do, you need to see what's really going on. So I go there, but it's a theological seminary school, right? Catholic school. Man, them brothers, they really wasn't reading and studying. They wasn't reading and studying at all. And like they was just reading the Bible, which most Christians just do. And that is not honoring God. It's not honoring God. It's like putting your like this to God because you won't study. Why the hell are you in school if you're only using one book to study God? Why don't you study all the scriptures around the world? Why not that? So you get an idea of what some of the things in the Bible are telling you. And then at this Council of Nice, why would 1,500 bishops leave out of 1,800? Now, the 300 others was real smooth and slick. They were like, homie, look, this dude.
We're going to pimp this thing.
Yeah, this dude is psychopathic. And them other 1,500 that left, Emperor Constantine went after these bad boys. But
so look at this, family. This is going to be talk about what is the nature of evil. All right. According to Yeshua or Isa, this is what, let me make sure I'm trying to get the, make sure y'all can see this. All right. So here's full screen. We all do recognize the fact that evil is, whatever is, must have a cause. If God, the one, made this evil, then where is God who did it? And Jesus said, whatever God, the one, has made is good. And like the first great cause, the seven spirits are all good. Everything comes from their creative hands is good. Now, all created things have colors, tones, and forms their own. But certain tones, though good and pure themselves, when mixed, produce inharmonies, discordant tones. And certain things, though good and pure, when mixed, produce discordant things, yea, poisonous things that men call evil things. So evil is the inharmonious blending of the colors, tones, or forms of good. Now, man is not all wise and yet has will his own. In other words, men are still premature, pre-K. He has the power and he uses it to mix God's good things in a multitude of ways. And every day he makes discordant sounds and evil things. What Lodge always says, condemnation, criticism, condemnation, and what else?
Judgment and blame.
Judgment and blame. And every tone and form, be it of good or ill, becomes a living thing, a demon,
Mm.
sprite, or spirit of a good or vicious kind. Man make his evil, then becomes afraid of him and flees. His devil is emboldened, follows him away, and casts him into torturing fires. The devil and the burning fires are both the works of man, and none can put the fires out and dissipate the evil one but man who made them both. Then Jesus stood aside, and not a magi answered him. And he departed from the throne and went into a secret place to pray. So you, my brothers and sisters, you, my gods and goddesses, with the fact that you are a god and a goddess, you got to become a musician so that you can create harmonious tones and harmonious mixes. Whether you mix something, a batch of delicious dinner, or angry and resentful over a stove. Don't let no angry man or woman in the kitchen. Don't get when I was in the military, the person other than the captain that was most important to everyone was the cook.
Mm.
Because the cook is the alchemist that everybody will eat from. Keep the cook happy and we'll get a happy meal. If you piss off the cook, the food is poison.
Without a doubt. I had some food cooked by somebody that had no love for me. And once I ate it, I went and vomited. That's how deep that was.
Now, if you get into meditation, family, just because you must have just came, that was from the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus the Christ. Now, if you get into meditation deep enough, family, and get sensitized to energy and start hugging trees and feeling the whispers from the trees, you'll have an experience similar to what I had when I went to Red Lobster in my hoopty. I had a hoopty, Logi, back in the day. It was an old busted up Chevy van. And I ordered some lobster. I'm going to have me some lobster. I don't know if I ever told you this story. I'm going to tell y'all.
I like to hear it.
Listen, I ate the lobster, polished off the plate, and went. And this was in Long Island years ago. And I sat behind the wheel, but before I turned the key over, I had this strange feeling in my stomach. So I just was like tuned into what I ate. Logi, family, I heard the lobster say, I wasn't ready to die. I wasn't ready. He wasn't afraid. He was angry that they had killed him and made him a meal. So this was an older lobster because that lobster was big. All right. Everything's alive. And then when I did my mushrooms, I know I told you this story.
Yeah.
And I may have told y'all, but listen up again. I usually like to do, because mushrooms has a masculine spirit. That's why it's called grandpa. Ayahuasca has a female spirit. That's why it's called mama. And I could do mama, grandma Aya, easily by myself. But with grandpa, I need a female presence because I got fire already. So I need to have a woman be with me during the meditation to balance out the fire. And this particular night, I didn't. And family, what I heard, first I was doing the meditation and I saw turkeys come. I saw fish came and I saw chickens come. And they looked at me in my face and said, we are brothers. We love you. Why are you eating us? And I started asking for forgiveness. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. And then I started tripping a little bit. I'm like, oh man, this meditation is getting to be a bit much. I need to get rid of these shrooms. I tried to flush them. They wouldn't flush down the toilet, man. They kept floating. Like, we ain't going nowhere. You getting this lesson tonight.
Oh God.
So I just wanted to share that. This is closed eye meditation. Don't matter if your eyes are open or closed during a mushroom meditation, brother. You best believe that. So we're coming up on an hour, and before we close out, because we're going to do a healing circle,
Nice.
and we're going to. I want you, wherever you are, if you have something that you are addressing and you want to get the collective power of the audience, we got about 50 people in the audience right now. Put it in the comments what you need assistance with, and we're going to do collective um, consciousness, focusing our consciousness one person or one group at a time, because each of us in one cell family, you have approximately 1 volt, technically 0.07. So if you get 100 cells, you basically have, if you do the math right, that's like 7 volts. If you look up in your chat GPT how many cells you have in your body, you approximately have 20 trillion volts, 20 trillion cells in your body. So if you multiply 20 trillion, and those of you in the chat, if you have chat GPT, ask how many cells in the average human body, it would probably come up between 10 and 20 trillion. Then you multiply 0.07, it comes out to like between 3 and 5 trillion volts in each of us. And that's just the beginning. You, Laji, we are miracles. We are miracles of voltage.
Without a doubt.
Now, if you really want to mess up Chat GPT, I'm going to tell you how you do it. First, ask how much blood vessels is in the average human body. The answer is going to come out to about, on average, 60,000 miles of blood vessels in the human body. Next thing, ask how long does it take a red blood cell to travel throughout the entire body? The answer will come out 1 minute. So, if it takes 1 minute for a red blood cell to travel 60,000 miles through the body, how many miles an hour is that traveling per second? Now, 30 seconds, that's 30,000 miles an hour. And Chat GPT couldn't answer the question. It started because you're a miracle. That means in 15 seconds, you got 15,000 miles that the blood is traveling at supersonic speeds through the body. Or our blood cells are doing quantum circulation through the body. Quantum circulation. So you are already a miracle, my brothers. You are already miracles, my sisters. You are already gods and goddesses, my brothers and sisters. Now, this is, I dare you to go to Chat GPT and try that, because it doesn't make sense for the computer. The computer will stop. Let me explain. But you're saying, wait a minute, 15 seconds, 15,000 miles? How is that blood cell traveling at that speed? Because that means a blood cell per second is traveling 1,000 miles an hour. And the speed of sound is 700. That means you should be rolling thunder wherever you travel.
You are a god.
You are God. And they can't physically describe how your blood circulates from a prick of your finger to your eyeballs and back to your toes in a minute. You're a miracle that technology hasn't even caught up with. A lightning strike is only 1 billion. Look up on Chat GPT or look up on Google. How many volts in a lightning bolt that strikes the earth? It's only 1 billion. That's a lot. 1 trillion is 1,001 billion. 1 trillion is 1 billion times 1,000 is 1 trillion. You got on average 3 to 5 trillion volts in your body.
When
That means you have voltage enough to manifest anything.
when a human being is born, that one spermatozoa that makes it to the egg is 1 out of 500 million. So when you just come to the earth, you are 1 in 500 million. Now, depending on how much spermatozoa your dad has, you're 1 in 5 or 300 million. Either way, you are somebody. In the moment you take birth, you had gone through what 300 million or 500 million could not do. So that's just starting out. That's just in the beginning. Before you even take birth, that's who we are. To start out.
Now, if Logi's holding 3 trillion volts, I'm holding 3 trillion volts. We got 50 people on this show right now. 50 times 3 trillion. How many volts is that when we focus our attention? You transform the world. Now, the only thing that's missing from the voltage that really impacts transformation, you have to put the feelings, and feelings is the current. That's what really, pow! That's what really makes things manifest, is feeling that it's already real. And your subconscious says, I don't know, facts from fakery. So when you say, so let it be spoken, so let it be done, pow! It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. So go ahead. What'd you say, Logi?
You asked me last week, why are you going so fast? Because when I start doing them decrees, it's like that emotional intensity adds speed to, the thing. Now, when I'm doing it with the students, I got to slow down a little bit, but I still just put that emotional feeling. It's like I said this before. You meet a girl and you don't know her, and you go up to her and you go, yo, baby, yo, baby, yo, baby, yo. She's going to look like you like a fool. But if you go up to her and you say any suave words, if you go up there and say, you're beautiful, you're gonna stop her in her track. You go up to her and you say something like, I never saw anyone as beautiful as you in my whole life. You're gonna stop her in her tracks, especially if you're adding sincerity. If it's truth and not game, if you adding sincerity to that, if you adding truth to emotional intent and thought, it is the power of the spoken word. It is how you manifest. And the more pure you are with that, it will manifest immediately.
You know what I'm realizing in my ears, brothers, now that you're bringing it up, Logi, try, instead of talking to a woman because she's a goddess, see what it's like to sing to her in your conversation. Yo, go ahead, Logi.
I told my son, you don't even have to make a whole lot of sense. All you got to do, I told my son, I said, because he was asking me, he's like, Dad, okay, we learn all this tantra, we learn this, that, and that. How do you really approach them to get them? I said, try this one out. Go up to a woman and just do this. If it makes no sense, but just go up and watch how it happens. I said, sing this to her. La, la, la. Go right to her face and go, la, 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 Scooby-Doo. She gonna look at you like you crazy at first. Then you go, la, 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 Scooby-Doo. She gonna start smiling. Then you go, la, 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 Scooby-Doo-be-doo-be-doo. She will melt right there and start touching you. You crazy. Get on out of here. Not get on out of here. What she really made is take me home. Boom. You don't even have to make sense when you start singing. Oh, man.
The reason, and we're just bringing this up, family, because our goddesses are in a different dimension. Talking like we're talking now, this is very masculine. Yeah. But our goddesses, our sisters, they are literally angels. Our women are goddesses. So the deepest devotion, like a Sunday morning Baptist church service, think feel, my brothers, that she sing to her like she is the goddess on high, because she is. And I would do this. I would have the best conversations when I'm microdosing ayahuasca and talking to a goddess, because ayahuasca is feminine. That's grandma. So I would say, speak through me. Just because, like 60s and 70s love songs, our black goddesses are hardwired for the love songs of the 60s and the 70s, regardless of the gangster record companies trying to bend, twist, and mutate acoustics to being something of evil. Our sisters are goddesses that love songs from the 60s and 70s. Y'all remember the moments?
How many of us been? How many?
Look at me, I'm in love. Look at me, I'm in love. Talk about it, Logi.
I'm telling you, the last time I saw them, it was on 125th Street, 135th Street on Harlem Day, and they were saying, we're gonna sing some of the songs that many of y'all that's in this audience right now was conceived on. They were singing them. I mean, not only the moments, but the Delphonics, you know. And I mean, man, it was love music. It was love music,
and we're bringing it back.
They bring back. And here's the half. The gangster record companies, or I'm not even gonna call them gangsters, the satanic record companies understood this. And when they came in, look, we got to move on getting this done. Because look, in the 60s and 70s, they even stopped that movement. The Beatles came in changing the music, and people start waking up. And then it's like that My Sweet Lord.
Yeah.
Now we singing to God. Now we singing to God. They wanted to stop that movement, and they did it. They stopped it, and the reason they stopped it, there was two, not the reason they stopped it, but one of the ways they stopped it was bringing this demonic music in. And another way is they start bringing in this feminism. You did?
Yeah.
Split us up.
So what we're going to do, family, I want you brothers who really adore the black goddesses and the not so black goddesses, because all the women are goddesses, is imagine following your intuition sometime and singing to her hands, singing to her palms, singing to her feet. Forget the garden for now. Leave that to Barry White. Singing to her navel, her heart, a love song. And if you don't know how to sing, do something as simple as A, B, C, D, E, F, G. All right? And watch her butterfly wings open up. Am I right, Logi? Go ahead. Touch on it, brother.
The language of love, Scooby-Dooby-Doo. That tune that I said la la la, that was from that record. That was from that song back in the day. The language of love. You know, la 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 Scooby-Doo. La 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 Scooby-Doo. And bust this. The women of earth are the goddess of earth, are the goddesses of earth. There was only men here at one time, but we went off because we found out that these gods that was ruling over us, that had us enslaved, we rebelled and we started fighting with them. Now we were celibate for a long, long time, so we had energy and we went berserk. So we were defeating them at times. How are monkeys going to defeat us? What's going to happen? They're going to take all the gold of the planet Earth, and they couldn't figure out what to do. Then one of their wise men from their planet said, you got to get women to calm them down. So they didn't get any women. They went and got women from all over the galaxy that was so magnificent. Not only did the gods themselves want these women, but the angels came down from their holy birth to get the women who were the daughters of men, because the women here was so fine. And
I'm starting to think, no, it wasn't earthly. the goddesses were down here just had to play, just to set up a picnic underneath a big old tree. There were goddesses on the earth. Period. I think there was a twist. The angels came down to meet the goddess angels.
Yeah.
Because that's what our women are, goddess angels.
Well, one thing we know, they can turn the mind of men if they get misdirected, like it has been done now.
Well, you know, there's a thin line between love and hate.
Man, that's one of the songs I love. But it taught you knowledge. It taught you knowledge. One of the verses in that song I love so much. You go, don't think you can keep breaking your woman's heart and she'll sit back and enjoy it. That's wisdom. That's
the only way we're going to get back, family.
Yeah.
Is we got to sing love songs to our goddesses, and the goddesses got to feed the gods, because the men, us men, we're gods too. We gods.
We supposed
so
to
women, you can feed the gods grapes and belly dance, a silhouette of candlelight, honoring the divine, because God is so high. God is the only reality. The only reality truly is God. Period.
I think what we need to get back into is what is the characteristics of a male god and what is the characteristic of a female god.
Oh, now you got that, because I'll pull out my books. We could do that tomorrow.
Cool.
Let's go into the characteristics. So with that being said, we're gonna wrap it up and we're gonna see you tomorrow. What's better for you, Laji? 7 or 8?
7.
All right. So listen, y'all. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do a follow-up on the various types of black gods and black goddesses throughout the world, because we are carbon-based life forms. Listen, ayahuasca showed me carbon-based life form. Carbon is black. So this is a black-based life form planet that use black-based fuel, black-based food, and black-based life forms. Now, whatever colorful colloquialism you want to add to that, you do it. But this is a carbon-based planet. So this whole planet is dominated by black life forms of various shades. All right. Rice goes, where to find the herbs? Start with Kinkaliba. Kinkaliba D. I just drank up my Kinkaliba. It decalcifies the heart chakra. And most of all, gods and goddesses out here, in our closing words, practice the miracle art of forgiving. Forgive your mama, forgive your papa, forgive forgive everyone, and forgive yourself most of all. Forgive. And we'll see y'all tomorrow, 7 o'clock. As my Muslim brothers and sisters would say, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Yep.
Inshallah.
Praise the Lord and pass the peas. This was a good show, Laji. Thank you.
Yeah.
We're closing out.
Thank you.